Let's talk about Black Flash and Binding Vows on today's Juju Stroll, brought to us by Zad, who just had a couple of questions to me related on these things. So, first of all, Zad wanted to know, would it be possible to make a binding vow to increase your odds of hitting a Black Flash? And the example he gives is like, let's say you sacrifice using your left hand entirely to make it more likely to hit a Black Flash with your right hand. And I think something like this could be theoretically possible because it does satisfy the, underlying condition of a binding vow, which is you give something up to get something else. However, the only iffy part about this is whether or not Black Flashes can be manipulated by binding vows. And that's only because Black Flashes are out of your control to some extent. They cannot be done at will, right? Now, Yuji, the bear in a Black Flash, he can do them more than anybody else. It almost looks like he can do them at will, but he can't, right? And there's certainly factors you can control, but there are at least some that you cannot, which is why Gojo, even with the 6 eyes, cannot do Black Flash at will, right? So you may not be able to manipulate that with a binding vow because it's outside of your control, if that makes sense. But at the very least, you would be able to increase your odds of hitting a Black Flash that were under your control. So, we're getting into semantics here, but you could increase your probability, right? I just don't think you could ever do anything that would make it so that you could guarantee one, if that makes sense. But then Zad's other question was, could you make a binding vow wherein you get a big bonus upon hitting a Black Flash because they are so rare and so difficult? I.e., if I hit a Black Flash, I get a tremendous boost in cursed energy because of it, right? And I don't think this would be possible because this does not satisfy the underlying principle of a binding vow, which is you have to give up something to get something, right? And in that scenario, you're not giving up anything, you're just getting an extra bonus upon hitting a Black Flash, regardless of how difficult it is, right? For example, similarly, I could say if I hit 35 backflips in a row, I get a tremendous burst of cursed energy. It's yeah, you did something cool, but where was the sacrifice? You know what I mean? So I think the closest thing you could do in that way would be to emulate Nanami's overtime binding vow, wherein you could say I'm not going to use any of my cursed energy except for 1% of it, right? But if I hit a Black Flash with only 1% of my cursed energy, that gets 100x boost on that attack or something like that. So I think that would be possible, but otherwise, no.